What do you think of the whole Jussie Smollett situation?
Jussie, listen, that says more about society than it does about him. We reward people for being victims. And he felt like if I'm a victim, my level of fame will grow.
Yeah.
It wasn't about his ability to act. It wasn't about any particular skill set. It was if I can draw a narrative where I'm a victim, then I can become famous. It ain't about the work no more. It's nothing. That's what happens when you make people famous and you make people stars with no talent, with no ability.
Well, he's talented.
What? No, I'm saying that, not that he didn't have talent.
I see what you're saying.
He saw so many people surpass him without talent. He was like, how can I make, you know what I mean? It used to be before, if you kill this role, it leads to something else. Or if you do this or that, it leads to something else. Now, if you have controversy, that's better than having talent. And when controversy, and look, it worked. If it had worked out for him and he was not caught, his name was everywhere. His face was everywhere. It was going to work.
Right. He was on Good Morning America, which is the biggest interview platform in America right now.
It by far. And he had it. He had it. He just got caught.
Right.
It was going to work out. People forget the reason why the Kardashian situation even blew up is because Kim was a victim. She played the sex tape was leaked. I didn't know nothing about it. How could you do this to me? They recorded a phone call she made to Ray J, like on an answer machine or whatever, put that out. It's controlling the narrative of the victim.
Well, let me tell you something. I actually interviewed Steve Hirsch, who was the owner of Vivid, who made that deal. And he explained the whole process. And number one, for those who, don't know about how the porn industry works, in order for a pornography tape to come out, both parties have to sign release forms and show their identifications. Well, the interesting thing about celebrity sex tapes is that when you sort of talk to the outside, population, it almost seems like it's presented as this tape leaked and I had no idea how it happened and it's out there and I'm not making any money off of it and so forth. But the reality is, from what I know about the porn industry, is that you can't legally put out anything like that, any sort of, pornography without having everyone sign off, without having licenses, driver's license, identification, and, a bunch of different contracts. That means that everyone's actually involved.
Well, celebrity sex tapes, they come in all different shapes and sizes, and they make their way to our office in many different ways. And I think what you see is that sometimes a tape will come to us and the person who's in it, the celebrity who's in it, will be upset about it, very upset about it. I think Kim is a perfect example. I mean, she went absolutely crazy.
That's anybody with common sense
right.
who've ever had to exchange hands with money for doing a deal. No, you're not doing.
Right. If a company leaks a sex tape without the permission of the, like for example, Gawker leaked the Hulk Hogan sex tape, and they are now bankrupt and out of business.
And he got $100+ million off of them, right?
Exactly.
He asked for 100. The judge gave him 125 just to get Gawker on out of here.
This is what happens when you leak a sex tape.
Right.
Okay. It was a whole, and he explained it. It was like,
it was brought to us by a third party. Felt like the proper paperwork that we needed was in place. That came along with it. Now that ultimately wasn't the case, but we went out there and said, look, we feel comfortable releasing this movie. Ultimately, we were able to have a conversation with Kim after much back and forth and lots of legal stuff going on. But ultimately, she agreed to allow us to put out the tape. We paid her several $1 million. It was an amazing investment for us. And I think it worked out pretty good for her as well. But ultimately, yes, we need to get an agreement.
So what was that call about? But it backfires too. Like Khloe tried to play the victim over this Tristan thing, and Black Twitter ripped her to shreds, and she came back and apologized. I think people might be getting tired of the whole victim thing, man. I hope
Yeah,
so.
man.
So
As a
maybe-
man, I don't understand the victim thing. Like, I don't want anything to come out that makes me look like a victim. That's some punk shit to me. Like, you know, like I don't want, like, you know, if anything, I might hire somebody, you know, to let me beat him up in front of someone, just so I
Right.
can look like a hero.
So I
Like,
can
you know, impress a girl or something. You know, have a guy try to grab her, that I beat him up, and then
But
I pay
there's
him $100.
somebody watching this right now going, but that's toxic masculinity. No, it's masculinity. That's what it is.
Right.
I don't want to look like me. Listen, this is what people forget, man. That at the end of the day, we're still just humans.
Yeah.
And if all this stuff, all the technology goes down, everything, and guns don't work, all the bullets run out, you know who's going to own everything? The dude who punches the hardest. That's
Right.
who's
Walking Dead.
the dude who walks through and you can't beat his ass. He is the guy who now has all the farms, all the everything, all
the
the
women.
resources, all the women. Stop just because we've added all these, like all this technology and all this stuff, and people trying to call themselves educating. At the end of the day, if it goes down, if there's like an apocalyptic situation, the dude who nobody can beat his ass, he's the guy now. And that's all it is, man. And people just try to change it. Nah, man, it is very basic. And we're born with that in us. We understand that that's what it is. I think these countries are building armies to talk about it. Just to say, no, because if the time where I got to prove to you that you can't see me, I'm going to prove it to you. That's all it is. That's where the respect comes from.
Oh yeah, no. People try to say, you know, because I have this page called Vlad's Talks where I talk about, you know, finances and so forth. And you know, I've always been very opposed to a cryptocurrency, right? And people are like, "Oh well, but you believe in this, you know, this fake American money that's not based, you know, that doesn't have any gold or anything behind it. It's just worthless, you know." It's like, nah. You know what it's got behind it? Biggest army on earth. That's what that dollar got behind it. And whatever country chooses not to pay us back,
Hey, listen.
we will go bomb that motherfucker.
Ask Gaddafi.
Yeah,
Ask Gaddafi.
ask fucking what happened. Ask Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, everybody who's tried to change the currency, they're not with us anymore.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what happens when you try, oh, the dollar isn't worth anything. Try to change it. Try to show the world that the dollar is worthless and see what happens.
Yep.
It doesn't end good for anybody. So no, I'm gonna just keep collecting these dollars. Thank you, America.